Hi, this is James Maroney from First Choice College Placement and AdmissionHook.com. Today I'm here with Guy Milone, a good friend of mine, 1985 Yale graduate, and 1988 is Catholic University Law School
Correct.
Graduate, and he's also an accomplished one-act playwright and screenplay writer. Several of his one-act plays have won awards, and what we're going to do today is talk to Guy a little bit about writing the college essay, how to tell your story. First thing I want to ask you, Guy, is what makes a good essay?
A good essay is much like all types of writing, that it should be a subject that you know well. It should be personal and unique to you. It's less about an event or a story and more about the personal aspect of that story. It could be something simple, like a setting at a dinner table. It does not have to be a great event, because you're not describing the event, you're describing the tensions and the thoughts of the personality of the individual. So make it unique, make it about yourself.
Right. So ultimately, it's not about the big game; it's about you, about
Right,
the student.
you, right, and your views of what's around you, not what's happening around you in this form.
Okay, and great. So making it personal, showing your observations. What goes into telling a good story? How does a student go about telling a good story and grabbing a reader?
As simple as it sounds, good stories all have a beginning, an introduction that tells the reader kind of where we're going. Maybe something that's original in your opening, not a gimmick, but something that's unique. Again, it doesn't have to be standard. A middle that brings you closer to what your ultimate conclusion is and ties back in. So it's basic writing. It's circular. It begins at a point, it introduces the reader to a concept, it develops that concept through the middle, and at the conclusion, it ties back in, so it makes sense. It's a journey for the reader. Often, inexperienced writers will backload a story, backload what it is, go for one big punchline, and that's not what it is. It should be more balanced. So the introduction and the middle and the conclusion are all important.
Great. So you have that emotional arc, and you're bringing the reader full circle, bringing them
Full
back
circle.
and tying everything,
Correct.
tying it up with the bow.
Right, it makes sense. You tie it up with a bow. So as you said, at the end of reading it, you're like, okay, now I understand why that was said in the introduction. Now I understand why that piece is critical. It's a puzzle that comes together for the reader if it's structured correctly.
Great. So, I mean, there are elements of good writing that go into the college essay, but what makes a college essay different than a regular English class essay?
A college essay differs because it is so unique. It is about the author, not the author telling another story. And timing, right? Professional writers have much more time and review drafts, and I think students currently in an environment that's very demanding between extracurricular activities, getting their homework done, studying for tests, preparing for college, doing applications, they do not allow enough time to develop the essay, develop the story. This is not something you do in a week, and definitely nothing that you cram for. You have to think about it, brainstorm about it, have interaction with your friends or your parents with topics, and then develop that topic, let it sit, come back to it.
Great. So the advice is start early, right?
You have to start very early. And again, look at yourself. It's unlike other writing where you're looking outward and gathering information. You have all the information. These are your life experiences. You just have to search them and put them together in an outline form and develop that outline and then make it understandable for the reader. So there is a beginning, a middle, and end, because you're telling a slice of what you are. It's almost like a variation of an interview, perhaps. This is something else that someone should know about me that I think will give insight to the type of person I am, that I experience growth, that I deal with something, or just how I look at the world. It could be amusing.
And that is a great analysis, and actually, I mean, it puts it in perspective that in normal writing you're looking outward. This essay you're looking inward.
Absolutely.
Right? It's all about you and your feelings and your thoughts and what you bring to a college campus. Now,
Right.
can you give me some examples of some of the? I know you've seen a couple, essays, friends and,
Yes,
and family members, and give me some examples of what have been your favorite essays and what worked and why you felt it worked.
I think one in particular that worked was a story that was written about being a vegan, which was a very interesting perspective because it was a personal perspective. It was less about the health aspects of it, less about convincing other people the value of being a vegan or the health benefits, and more about why they were a vegan. They were actually tied to roots in animal cruelty and did not like the processing of cattle and beef and how it got there. And that was an interesting perspective. If you speak to most vegans or most people that eat healthy, it's about the health, the health, the health. It wasn't about the health for this student. It was about, hey, this is how I have a relationship with my pets and ultimately got me to be a vegan. And maybe when I go to the university, if someone asked me, I would explain it in those terms, not terms of that. Another very interesting was family relations and the structure and foundation that someone felt that they had with their family based on their meals. When the family would get together for a holiday and all come together, and the interaction, the body language, the known responses, this student felt that having that foundation, knowing that people made mistakes and they talked about it and laughed about it in the future, made that particular student more able to deal with the adversity and heavy scheduling, because really felt that my family's been through a lot more than I've been through, and they can sit and laugh and tell the same stories over and over. So you got the feeling that this person was very resilient and could deal with adverse situations better. Yet it was all about the family and sitting at a dinner table. It wasn't about a traumatic event that happened in their life. It was how hearing about the events from their family affected them and changed their view. Again, introspective, looking to yourself about what's going on the outside.
And that's, you bring up a traumatic event. That's one thing I know. I've had many students come to me and say they've heard never write about the 3 Ds, death, drugs, or divorce.
Right.
Is there anything that students should avoid, or is there anything, ideally I guess what they should write about comes down to what's important to them, but any suggestions there?
Yeah, I mean, my suggestions, you can write about those things if they are unique to you. I mean, many of those become philosophical adventures. Like, this is how you should act, or if this ever happens to me, or this is what I learned. People tend to learn the same lessons, such as if you work hard, there's a good result. Well, that's not a unique story. I mean, that's a little cliche, and sometimes when you get into those, I was very close to someone and I lost them, and I've overcome that now, so I can better deal with loss. Well, that's an important quality, and I don't want to demean that quality, but it's not a unique story. It doesn't differentiate yourself from someone else. That's more of the human condition. That's what humans do. That's how people survive. Let's hear something particular about you that doesn't have to be so dramatic. That's, again, doesn't have to be big. It can be small, but unique.
Great.
That's what makes it memorable.
Any final advice for students as they're sitting down to write their essays?
Yeah, the final advice is that you do have to change your mindset. It's not a race. It's not homework to get done. It's not a paper that has to be in to be graded. It's a time to truly slow down, take a deep breath. Don't follow what you normally do. Go up to your room, sit at your desk, get it done, study in the library. This is something that really takes some personal reflection, and however you do that, whether it's running, being outside, finding a quiet place, you have to change your normal routine.
Great advice. This essay is different than anything else you've written, so
Yes.
treat it differently. And also, I think you bring up the important part about the introspection, right, the self-evaluation. The college process is about growth, and if treated correctly, it can be a valuable exercise.
A valuable exercise, and it's not about being perfect. Don't worry about writing flaws and dealing with those flaws. No one is perfect. They don't expect people to write about being perfect. Being perfect means that you're probably not, and you're not being truthful.
Great. So be true. Another final parting piece of advice. And once again, this is James Maroney from First Choice College Placement, and you can find us on the web at www.firstchoicecollege.com. And when you've finished your essay, why don't you submit it for our scholarship contest at www.admissionhook.com. And thank you very much. Once again, this has been Guy Milone. Thanks, Guy.
You're welcome.